Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and guests, this is my third pathway, and this is my third icebreaker. But I'm not going to bore you with the chronological details of when I was born, what did I do, when did I start my job, when did I join Toastmasters. But I will share with you what I enjoy, and hopefully you will learn something about me from that. So last year, I had a chance to visit three places: Copenhagen, Mexico City, and China. Now, each place is beautiful and probably deserves a speech of its own. And I had a hard time choosing, but I chose China, simply because I think China was the most different from my expectations. Now, like every other person, I've learned about China from what? Newspapers, propaganda, and way too many Jackie Chan movies. So I was expecting everybody to be doing kung fu when I landed in China. Now, getting to China is easy. Getting the visa is the hard part. When I applied for the China visa, it said, "Oh, are you a member of any organizations?" I said, "Yes, Toastmasters." I got a letter from the Chinese embassy. What does Toastmasters do? And will you be doing any activities relating to Toastmasters in China? I said, "No, Toastmasters is not a political organization, and I have no plans to evangelize Toastmasters in China." They said, "Okay, welcome, you can get the visa." Now, the first flight was to Hong Kong. Hong Kong is easy. As an American, you can actually walk in. There's visa on arrival. Everybody speaks English. It's like New York, except it's hot and muggy. It's dirty, it's expensive, and it's like any other city. What's the difference? Too much Asian food. Well, I decided to cross the way into mainland China, where I had never been before, Shenzhen. I took a high-speed boat, and I was in Shenzhen. The first thing you notice when you hit Shenzhen is how organized it is. It's beautiful, it's clean, and nobody accepts cash. And nobody speaks English. And your Google doesn't work there. So you better get Didi and WeChat to navigate China. For food, the first day we said, "Okay, let's try some Domino's." I saw a Domino's. Let's walk in. Interesting. There was no counter, only tables to accept the food. How do you order the food? There was a QR code on the wall. We went there, we clicked. Every single angle, every other app we could find, it would not click. 20 minutes later, we walked out without eating any pizza. Later, we found out that QR code only clicks inside Chinese apps. So if you go to China, do that. We ate in a local place. Now, the first day was like any other tourist city. We went there, we went to downtown. There was a beautiful mall, maybe 20 stories high, a lot of American brands, a lot of Chinese brands, a lot of Chinese brands that look like American brands, and a lot of good food. But it's day two when Shenzhen really shines. So Shenzhen is an interesting city. It's between the water and a mountain. So we went to the water park on the water promenade on day two. And there are high rises on the side of the water. There's a promenade. They also made a high line so you don't touch any traffic. So we started at one end of the walkway. We went on the high line, which is like New York City. So you walk between the buildings, but you never touch any traffic. So it's beautiful. There are trees all around. You can go down to the water, enjoy cafes. And at the end, there is an entertainment district. We decided to do a VR show. The VR show was in Chinese. The first trouble was buying the ticket because nobody spoke any English. Finally, we got a ticket for a VR show about China in Chinese. Now, those people were very, very nice because we were probably the first foreigners who spoke English who ever visited their shop. When we went inside, the first thing they do is they tell you about what's about to happen in the show. So a bunch of young people got into Chinese costumes, put us in a room, and we were the only 4 people in that room, and told us for the next 20 minutes in pure Chinese what's going to happen in the show, which is also in pure Chinese. And we were nodding along nicely. They were very excited, and they were doing it with enthusiasm as if we understood everything. We went in. Now, in a VR room, it's quite interesting. It's a room that moves. There are chairs where you can sit, they hold your hand, and we put goggles and we visited ancient China in Chinese. It was a lot of fun. Day 3 was the most interesting part because we decided to visit Shenzhen's mountain. You get down at City Hall, and there's a mountain around a mile in the distance, and they have built a walkway, which is around maybe 100 feet wide from City Hall, that goes over the city, over to the mountain. So you're walking over all the buildings, and if you want to access the city, you just walk down, go into cafes, go to the library, and then you walk to the mountain. When you go up the mountain, you see Chinese technology in action. Because once it gets dark, the city is lit up in synchronized fashion. All the buildings have LEDs, and it's synchronized light show free from the mountain in a central location, and it is beautiful. So that is what the Shenzhen trip was, and as everybody said, we have to follow our time. It's 4 to 6 minutes. So, Madam Toastmaster,